You're on the party line with Sarah and Christy. This is I'm on the Phone podcast, where we're healing out loud, sharing culty stories, and laughing at the mess along the way. So grab a coffee, a bestie, settle in, and let's talk. So this week it's asking, what did it teach us about our bodies? Which is a really difficult question because of what it did teach us. So, this one is landing hard this week.
I bet it does.
Yeah. So, I guess I'll just share this straight up front because once again, my therapy session
Oh, yeah.
has led to me writing again.
Oh, well, that's a good thing.
Yeah, but it's a hard one.
Yeah.
So this last time I ended up doing some brain spotting with her.
Okay.
Yeah, around a particular loop that my brain spirals into.
Mm-hmm.
And this topic is obviously very, very deep for you and I and women who have experienced purity culture, especially on the other side, when you start to process it.
Yeah.
I think when you're in it, you're really numb to it.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
But it's a very painful process.
Yeah.
It was very interesting because the things that were coming to my mind as we were doing the brain spotting, I'm not gonna say what all they were, but they were not what I was expecting.
Really?
Yeah. And but one part of it, because a lot of this did have to do with it ended up having to do with the perception of my body.
Mm-hmm.
And how I got there.
Mm-hmm.
And towards the end, I've never done EMDR, but I've done a lot of brain spotting. And it does work, I think, similarly, but towards the end, the mental images that were coming to my mind as she asked me to continue to follow that line of thought, I could see myself in my mind's eye.
Yeah.
In this box, a tiny box. And I don't know why, but it was filled with really electric blue light. And I was screaming.
Oh my God.
And fighting my way out of the box.
That's crazy.
And screaming at particular people.
But
And it was also kind of weird because I was basically breathing fire. It was a wild vision of myself.
yeah.
But I mean, it was really full of a lot of rage, pent up rage from over the years of what I have been taught about my body, the narrative it's been given.
Mm-hmm.
That's not true.
Right.
That's the whole point. It's not even true.
Yeah.
And so it was really weird because my body, even when we're done and even during it, still felt numb. I normally have a lot of physical sensation when I'm doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And I did for different parts, but when it came to really focusing on my body, it was fully numb.
Yeah.
But then later that night, I was able to write again. And it's all these things I've been trying to get out and put words to finally came out.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm going to share with you really quick.
Okay.
So it's titled Body. So it says, my whole life I've heard these messages. Men only want one thing. You are the thing. And you are wrong for being the thing. You're the problem if your DNA codes you to have large breasts that fill out shirts. And shirts that are filled out can only mean one thing, that it's intentional, wanton, temptation, because you just want attention. Never mind that the attention you want is connection to your own parents, to feel safe in your own changing body, and that you're only 13. You're just a problem body. Guys only want one thing, and you have it. And the attention is the only thing filling the void of connection. You're a problem. You're boobs now, and a vagina, and a pretty smile. You're just a problem body. Won't you smile more for me, honey? You look so pretty when you smile. And you smile helplessly, hungrily. Look at you, problem. Don't you know that you're just good for one thing? Don't you know that even that body isn't enough? The blue light of a screen always wins him eventually. You're just a mom body, popping out babies. You can't possibly keep up with the one good thing you had to begin with. You're just a tired body. You're just a body in pain. Blue light doesn't get tired or fat or complain. Blue light doesn't ask for help while drowning. Blue light glares to keep eyes blind to your body in the dark. Sinking, drowning, gasping for air, for the hope of a real connection. You're just a dead body, and not a problem body.
You should publish that. You wrote that for therapy? For your
Well, after
therapy?
therapy, like after that session, and like it's like for me, it's like a funeral for the beliefs that I was given.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Like, like I just had to get it out of my body.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's interesting that I was listening to an podcast therapist
Mm-hmm.
actually just this morning about, well, just like you said, when you're numb to it, when you're like in the middle of it and you're numb to it,
Yeah.
that that's an actual like trauma response to survive what you're going through. And he
Yes.
said, this guy said, I'm kind of surprised I was listening to a guy therapist, but I was. He's actually really good. But he said that you're the woman that he was talking to, because they call in, and tell their
Hmm.
story. The woman
Okay.
that he was talking to, he said, you are in shock and you're just trying to survive this.
Hmm.
And he said, but because she was saying, he cheated on me and he's been cheating on me for 5 years in an
Hmm.
11-year marriage. Her whole life is going up in smoke. And she's calling in saying, yeah, but it's a beautiful day and it's the sun is shining and trying to make the best of it. And he's like, wait, stop. Let's not do that. He said, you are trying to minimize and to quite literally deny what's getting ready to happen.
Yeah.
And he said, the more you do that, the more you're going to implode down the road.
Yeah.
And it affects your health. It affects your body, your health,
Hmm.
not
Yes.
just your brain, but just like your physical well-being.
Yep.
Um, and he was cautioning her to take it out and look at it and put it in front of her face and to name what it was and get it out of her system and quit trying to push it down and not verbalize what was going on.
Right.
Crazy, because that's exact I could hear that that's what she was doing.
Yeah.
Denial, denial, denial. I mean, she knew he had cheated on her, but she was trying to be the bigger person, and he's like, there is no there's no bigger person here, you know.
No.
This was wrong. You can say that it was wrong. You can even, you can have some choice words. You don't have to
Yeah.
be this version of adult that you think is expected here.
Right.
And I think that fits here with the purity culture, what it did to our bodies and our minds. Um, we have, well, just like you did in this letter or in this writing, you have to get it out of your body and you have to get it in front of your face
Hmm.
and figure out and realize this is why we look at ourselves the way we look at ourselves today, even.
Yeah.
This is why I struggle with my body. This is why you
Yeah.
struggle with yours or anything. Just our hair and our facial features and our anything that is
Anything to do
dissatisfaction.
with our appearance.
Huh?
Anything to do with our appearance.
Anything at all. It's not just like just the other day I was thinking it can't just be like blamed on one thing necessarily. It's not just social media.
No.
There's absolutely no way because I know that I'll never be one of those people. I know that I'll never look like that or do that. That's not where it originated from because I we didn't live in a social media world as children and as
No.
adults even. And so we can't blame it on social media.
No. No, we
Um,
cannot.
no, that was
I
really
mean, it definitely does play a role, more than it
for
obviously
sure.
when for us it was more like magazines and TV. Um, so there
Yeah,
was a public aspect to it. But for like us in the church, a lot of what purity culture was doing was, I guess it was a sort of good intention of like it was a response to what was happening in the world or had happened, but it was based out of fear. It was a fear response, which never ends well.
right.
Um, because like the purity culture movement really kind of, I mean, it was at its peak, I think, like for us in the 90s, but it didn't start there.
No.
And like a lot of like our parents and grandparents went through the 60s and 70s of like the sexual revolution. And then you had like the Christian slash evangelical world, just the broad term Christian response to that era was to go to swing the pendulum the entire other way,
Yeah. Yeah.
which again, not a good response.
No. No, they were there was no like even interest in finding middle ground. Like you're right. It was just swinging from one side to I mean it was just and it promotes chaos. I mean it's
Oh,
just
it is so chaotic.
chaotic. I remember it being a big thing even I think it was the early 2000s, maybe late 19 or 90s
Hmm.
when Britney Spears, came out and said she was a virgin and all of that crazy crap.
Yeah.
I don't know, probably half the population believed her and half didn't. I don't know. But that was a big thing. That was like a huge thing. Um, and that was like in the middle of that, I feel like that purity culture.
Hmm.
And she was just feeding into that, or maybe it wasn't even her fault, actually. I don't even
Well,
know.
Britney Spears is something or someone to be studied. Just
She is.
because, like, I don't believe that she made any decision for herself. And
And
what we
I believe
saw
she's
was
been
what they
reacting.
wanted us to see.
Hmm.
Um,
She
and
has
I
a lot
just
of bitterness too, and not bitterness.
absolutely, she has a lot of like
She went through a lot of
anger.
bitterness, but yeah, you can just see it on her face how angry she is, and
Yeah,
has every right to be, in my
yeah.
opinion. I mean, she had a dream, and she was severely taken advantage of.
Oh goodness, yeah.
It's almost like the same idea as like Elvis Presley. Like if you ever
Mm,
watched his life video movies and stuff like that,
yeah.
just had every right. Um, but anyway, back to this whole purity culture thing. I was actually talking to my oldest daughter not too long ago, and
Hmm.
one of the things she said that really kind of rocked me, and she comes up with things that you can tell she's been thinking. She does, you think your kids when they have their screen time or whatever, and their alone time when they're not doing school or down here having dinner, whatever, they are in their rooms, just watching movies. There's no way that that's what she's up there doing. Like she is
No.
studying quite literally psychology. That's what
Yeah.
it interests her. She is so
Hmm.
intelligent. And so she was telling me the other day that the things that she was told were sin
Hmm.
made her hate herself
Well,
because
yeah.
it was it was the reaction, or they were normal, natural reactions to things.
Right.
And some of it had to do with her body. And the thing, the problem with that purity culture thing is that all of the people who are in higher authority have
Hmm.
absolutely no education whatsoever. They have no scientific education about our bodies, the way that we work, the way that things happen. They are just stupid, stupid people. Like they have not educated themselves. They're not interested in educating themselves because if they do educate themselves, then it messes with like their view of like the way that they think God wants everything to be. It is so twisted.
Yes,
And I
educating
realized,
themselves would take them down off their little high horse.
yeah, I realized I mean, she is 100% right. That is exactly what happened to me. All of this stuff was named sin. Everything that I felt from the time I hit puberty to, whatever, everything, the way that I looked at things and the way that it was just all sin, every bit of it. And it makes you internalize everything. Everything about you is bad then.
Yeah.
So therefore, you are just a corrupt, horrible person just for being human, just for being who exactly, if there is a God, he created you to be.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, purity culture results
Yeah.
in you hating yourself. And it starts with that. I mean, you start hating how you look, how you feel, um, everything you do. I'm so thankful I got her out of it for sure. I mean, hmm,
Yeah. I mean, that was something that it was one of the earlier goals of my parenting. Like before I ever had kids, I knew that I did not want them to be like body shamed or fat shamed. Um, that was like one of the top things on my list. There was probably two top things on my list of how I was going to parent,
yeah,
and that was one.
yeah.
The other was I would apologize when I was wrong. Um,
Oh, that was a big
those
one
were
for me
my
too.
top two.
Yeah.
Um, and but unfortunately, we still live in that world, and we're still around the same people who did that to me, and so of course they did that to her.
Yeah.
Um, and it's still it still bothers her. But she still has a much healthier view than I did. Um, so in
Right.
some ways now she struggles in maybe a little different aspect. But to follow that up, like the way that they framed our bodies was both powerful and dangerous.
Mhm.
And so it was like you got pigeonholed into like between a rock and a hard place where like in that poem it's like men only want one thing and you're it,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
also you're wrong for
Mhm.
being that thing,
Mhm.
and also you're a thing.
Yeah, we're here for them.
Yeah.
Much. Yep.
Yeah,
Everything
we're
is about.
there, we're here as a function and not as a human.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. So that always that being placed, I mean, you can't win no matter what you do.
Yeah.
Um, and honestly, I know I focus a lot on like curvier bodies, and it's true. Like I've talked to other women who have experienced that. Like every time like they had a curvier body, we all got in trouble more. We got targeted a lot for what was perceived as us being I don't even know what like a good word for it is, but like being too sexy, I guess. Like but like we were doing it on purpose.
Yeah.
Like we were out there trying to tempt the guys.
Right.
Um and I can guarantee you that is not what was happening, at least for
Not the
me.
case. Yeah.
Um but then like it goes both ways. Like there was also girls who I think that you fell into that category. Like you weren't a curvy girl, um, but you still got targeted. Um,
I was never okay. So yeah, mine is different from yours. Absolutely.
yeah.
Not to say that I didn't have friends that it happened to, and I do remember a couple of my friends that were curvier and
Hmm.
got in trouble, and it confused me a lot because I was just like, I knew them, and they
Hmm.
were not trying to do anything wrong.
Yeah.
Um, but I was straight up and down. I'm a rectangle body. I was like an A cup until I had my daughter, my first daughter. And so um, I was like this teeny tiny string bean, really tall, not necessarily an attractive like hourglass figure or anything like that.
Uh-huh.
So I could wear just about anything, and you
Yeah.
could still not see that I had any hips or boobs or anything like that. But I was targeted for different things, and so but mostly. Uh, so I actually had to go after the attention, if that makes sense. So my
Yeah.
personality was big. I was loud and boisterous and, all of that stuff, flirtatious, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um, but I didn't like feel it. I always was uncomfortable and that kind of thing. Went after for different things. So we were more considered liberal because my mom had been divorced and remarried. She allowed us to cut our hair. She allowed us to do all this stuff. So anything, I remember being accused of having makeup on when I didn't. Like somebody accused me of having mascara on. And it was just because my eyelashes were really dark and they were really longer back when I was in high school.
Uh-huh.
Um, I remember those kinds of things. They just assumed that because my mom was divorced and remarried and we were this liberal family that I was going to try my hardest to like break every rule.
Yes, because the
And
divorced family just automatically means you're rebellious.
yeah, when in reality, I had no desire really to break the rules. I didn't have a reason to.
Yeah.
I didn't want to get in trouble. That was like, I just didn't want to get in trouble.
Right.
And I seem to still get in trouble regardless. And so, anyway, so that was that. I remember being on choir tour actually one time, and one of my friends who was curvier, she was gorgeous, um, was in a choir outfit just like the rest of us. It was a choir dress and it had a tie in the back, like a belt
Mhm.
tie. And the choir, it was a woman, but she was so out of line. Um, she was the choir director, and we were all standing, how we stood in a circle and we all prayed before the service began and everything. So we're all standing there in circle, everyone, boys, girl, all, guys, girls, everyone. We're at an unfamiliar place, that whole thing. She steps up behind my friend and she starts to undo her belt. And then she whispers in her ear, "This is too tight." In
What?
front of everyone.
Like they could all hear the whisper
Well, we knew what she was saying. The people that are within
right
like
there. Yeah.
feet, but there was a couple guys next to her, and it embarrassed the ever loving tar out of my friend. And
Yeah.
I was looking like I couldn't take I was just like, what the heck is she doing? And it was not like it wasn't any tighter than she was just bigger breasted and it had more hips and she had the hourglass figure. So what this woman was doing was telling her she just needed to look straight up and down and not draw too much attention to herself. It was terrible. And I just remember, just things stick in your mind that are
Yeah.
unjust, you know?
Yeah.
And that was not okay. Like I knew back then at the age of 17 that that was not okay.
Yeah.
And my friend was, oh, she was devastated. And so her and her sister were, I mean, she tied it so loose that it did. It was just like fell around her. And we were all just like, okay, well, that's stupid. Now it doesn't look right.
Right.
And so we all went into another room and her sister retied it back because it absolutely
Looked
was,
worse.
there was nothing wrong with the dress fitting her. There was no buttons popping out in the front showing anything. There was no strained material. It was
Yeah.
fitting her just like the dress was fitting me, right?
Yeah.
I had mine tied to the point where it would fit me.
Yeah.
And oh, I will never forget that. Like her name, I'm not gonna say her name because you might know who she is, but she was devastated.
I'm
And she is no
sure.
CHMer today.
Oh,
Absolutely.
I can't imagine she would be.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, I don't know. So you just think about those kinds of things. So that was more what I was targeted, like not that the clothes were too tight or that I was trying to get attention with my body, more my personality,
Hmm.
which is still not
Well,
okay.
you get told what men are looking for,
Hmm.
and you either have it or you don't. I guess there's in between. Um, it, it's weird. Like this is, I still struggle in my head with cognitive dissonance around this because
Hmm.
like being told, yes, this is what guys like, right? Or it's considered sexy or sexual or attractive, whatever you want to label it. And then if you have it, then you have to you get chided either way. If you
Right.
try to cover up, you look frumpy. You look like you
Yeah.
don't care how
Yeah.
you look.
Yeah.
Um, or if you wear clothes to fit, then you are supposedly trying to attract attention on purpose.
Hmm.
Um,
Can't win.
no,
You
but
can't win ever.
also if a man is attracted to you, that's also your fault because a man being attracted to you is also wrong.
Mhm.
Well, especially what's even worse is, a lot of times this was happening when we were teens
Yes.
and young adults. So it's normalizing
Hmm.
pedophilic behaviors.
Hmm.
Um, it was not uncommon for like older guys, like in their 20s, to be going after girls in their teens,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
like all the time,
Hmm.
all the time.
Hmm.
And to us, that was normal.
Hmm.
Um, but so,
Well, and Sarah, it's still normal
oh,
in the CHM.
absolutely.
It is still normal, and it's disgusting, but yeah, it's
Yeah,
still normal.
it's norm. Um, but it's so difficult to like it. I'm having a hard time even describing it because it's so hard to put into words.
Yeah.
So like I think anyone wants to be pretty or good looking.
Of
Like
course. Yeah.
that's just human nature. You want to be
Absolutely.
attractive. You want people to like you. Appearance is the first impression.
Right.
Um, that's just the way that it is. So that's a natural desire to look attractive to other people.
Right.
Um, and then you kind of like escalate into like you want to be like sexually attractive, like
Sure.
romantically attractive, which I'm sorry, but that's just it's sexual.
It's the way it is. Right.
I don't know how it can be anything else.
Right.
Um, which again, it's normal. You want to be like romantically attracted to a partner.
Hmm.
Um,
Even if you're asexual, you want to be romantically attracted to a partner.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like whatever you are, you want to be attractive romantically.
Right.
Um, but then this is where like you could come up against two opposing ideas is that you want to be attractive, you want to be romantically attractive. Um, but if you pursue that, if you lean into that, it's sin, it's wrong, but it doesn't change that that's what how we are made.
Right.
And so you're constantly fighting in your mind of, I mean, I don't know how many times, especially as a female, I don't think guys do this. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe some do. I
Hmm.
know some do. I'll give them that. But for girls, especially that grew up in this,
Hmm.
standing in front of your closet, trying to figure out what to wear
Hmm.
that is attractive, but not too attractive, that will honor God, that God is pleased with my outfit. That is,
Those are
and like you're,
triggering words.
mm-hmm, uh-huh. And like, I'm sure that whenever you bought your clothes, you did the test for sitting and standing and bending over and all those things.
And so
Um,
many times I stood in front of my closet and said, yeah, I'm good. And I was still sent back upstairs to change
mhm, yeah.
as a married woman.
Uh, mm, okay.
Yeah. So
That makes me angry.
it doesn't matter, it doesn't, no test. Yeah, that's not the point. But yeah, I get it 100%.
Yeah. So like you're constantly fighting a mental battle.
Hmm.
Like it doesn't matter how where you land on the pretty scale. Like you're fighting a constant battle in your mind of wanting something that's normal and natural to want, like you should want,
Yeah.
but also hitting a hard wall of it being worldly or provocative or
Yeah. Well, and
whatever,
I've seen more,
wrong,
right?
sinful.
I've seen more. Like I've never met someone this way, but I've seen more, probably more on social media, the younger generation, like in their 20s and 30s, who are closer to 100% satisfied and happy with who they are. But I don't know that I've ever personally met anyone who is
Uh-huh.
close to 100% satisfied and happy. Like I believe you and I are learning. We're taking
We're
steps in
learning.
that direction to be that
Yes.
way, but I still don't really know how to teach my girls how to love themselves because I'm
Mhm.
still learning how to love me
Right.
and and how to accept me exactly the way that I am currently because I don't know that I can change a lot to better myself in any way. I'm not even just talking about like weight or anything like that. Just like going to bed on time and getting, I'm just like
Yeah.
taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know that I can do a lot of that change without accepting myself more,
Yeah.
without loving myself more. And that book, Lies Women Believe, really did a number on me because
Yep.
the whole time I'm thinking it just fed into that narrative that you are selfish, and that you do love yourself. This is just, it's just a lie that you don't, and that you are probably worse than you think you are. So you already
Oh.
think bad about yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you read that book and you're probably worse than you think you are. You're not better.
Oh my
It was such a mind fuck.
God.
I hated
Yes.
that book and I can't stand that woman because she messed, oh my goodness. That book messed up so many people, so
Mm-hmm.
many women. It
Yes.
was
I
it was
mean, I
awful.
remember reading it, but it's been so long ago, I can't.
Yeah.
I know that
I
it,
took
I
that
know it
in.
impacted me because I think this the one is, I think particularly about weight, the thing she said, I was like, oh, what?
Yeah, I
um,
can't even look at a picture of her. Like, I think that her book was one of the last ones I ever read before I finally got out.
yeah,
Um, and I was trying my hardest, like I was in the situation, like I was there, so I was
yeah,
in this denial state. It was right before I met you, I'm pretty sure. Like
okay,
it was right before the revival that put us in the direction of the college.
okay.
Um, so that was probably 4 months before we met,
Oh
maybe.
wow,
Not sure. I read that book trying my hardest to work through some of the stuff that I was struggling with. And yeah,
ew, I'm sorry. That's an awful book.
it's an awful book.
Well, coming off of that, like this still kind of follows the same line of thought, but like how did modesty shape our self perception? And when I think of that, it really just kind of hammered home the ideas of us being dangerous
Mhm.
and that we're responsible for men's actions
Yeah.
or predators' actions, whichever it happens to be. Um, talking about teaching your daughters to love themselves. I think the one thing that helped me the most on that was Sheila Gregoire from Bare Marriage talking about like the modesty message and how harmful that is.
Yeah.
And like never, because you can teach, I don't like to put it even as a modesty message, but you can teach appropriateness.
Mhm.
I don't like to use the word modesty. I'm like, what is appropriate to wear to this thing, like to
Yeah,
where you're going?
because it's not always
Um,
the same.
oh, it's not. It's
Going to the
not.
beach, you can wear a bathing suit. Going to Walmart, no, don't put a bathing suit on. I mean, that is
Yeah,
just like
it's common sense.
normal. It's just common sense. It's culturally
And yeah,
acceptable.
yes.
That's yeah.
And it has never mattered what you wear as to whether or not a predator is going to assault you
Mm-mm.
or to be a predator because they simply are a predator.
Exactly. That's their choice. That is about
It's
them.
always their choice.
Right.
And literally it does not matter what you're wearing. It is always their choice to to do whatever they do.
Yeah.
Um and I know lots of people have probably seen or heard of it, but there's a website that it's like what she was wearing or something like that. But it shows like all the outfits of what these women were wearing, or girls or babies were wearing when they were assaulted. And largely speaking, none of them fit the criteria that they always ask. Well, what was she wearing? Was it a miniskirt? Were you drunk? Were you, I mean, how dare you put yourself in a position where a man can assault you? It's like, well, how dare a man assault them?
Right. You
They
can't even
never
say
put it back on the actual,
no. No.
perpetrator.
Mm-mm.
They just blame the victim.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, that 3-year-old in a onesie, that's not their fault. It doesn't
Exactly.
matter the age, it doesn't matter what you're wearing. It is never the fault of the victim, period.
It is yeah, it's the mindset of the predator. And that even goes, it's very apparent in
Mm-hmm.
what Donald Trump said recently about 6-year-olds being of age, over the age of 6. I don't know if you heard that. And so in his mind, apparently any girl over the age of 6 is of age. And that is the mind of a predator. That is the mind of like anybody thinking that a child is, I mean, that's even if they're over the age of 18,
Doesn't matter what age
still
they are. If they
cannot
don't want
be
it, you are not
sexually
entitled to
assaulted.
it.
Exactly.
You
It's
are just not entitled to anyone's body just because you want it.
non-consensual. I don't care how she's acting. I don't care what she's wearing. I don't care what words she's speaking. If she does not give consent, even if you're halfway through it and she wants to
Changes your
stop,
mind. Yeah.
that is rape if you force her to continue.
Yeah.
So it is just, you know, I hope we're coming. I feel like that we are coming into this awareness world. It's still
I
not
hope
there.
so. I don't know if like the insanity of what we're witnessing right now publicly with like, the all the e-files is waking people up. I hope that it is. I don't know. It's a lot.
Mhm.
But like none of this happened in a vacuum. Like this type of behavior has been protected for a long time because of patriarchy. And
Absolutely.
again, something I was just thinking of earlier that has been coming up a lot online is like how women are starting to realize that all of these like social norms about what was attractive and what wasn't, everything that like men want, it's to make you look like a little girl. The ultra thinness, the always being having a Brazilian wax,
Mhm.
being hairless,
Right.
um, all like, no stretch marks, like
Mhm.
everything looks prepubescent.
Yep.
And that is a culture of pedophilia.
Yep.
Women are starting to like wake up to like, oh, I'm going to be a woman,
Hmm.
not a little girl. And I will look like a woman
And I will
and
take
not a little
care of
girl.
myself the way that I want to take care of myself. Absolutely.
Yeah. But I'm like, you know what? Women have curves, they have rolls, they have like cellulite, they have stretch marks. Like that is being a woman. And especially if you're a mother, like
Yeah.
our bodies do not look like smooth little baby seals.
Hmm.
Like that's just not
Exactly.
what being a woman is.
It isn't. And if you've had kids, and you've got the stretch marks and you've got the rolls and you've got all of that, I recently was just thinking, I'm not interested in erasing everything
Mm-hmm.
that is the evidence of having 4 children.
Right.
Like I got my stretch marks and my rolls and all of it, honest. I got it with hard work.
Work.
And I didn't get it with binging at 12 and 1 o'clock in the morning, although I'm sorry, but there's no shame on that because
Sometimes
hormones
that's the only
hit.
time you get.
Sometimes that's the only time you get to even have supper. And I've done that so
Yeah.
many times. Um, or to have alone time,
Hmm.
I mean, Sarah, I still cannot go and go to the bathroom without someone knocking on the door with a question. I'm not kidding. Like
Oh, I
yesterday,
know.
I was
I'm
just like,
aware.
I wonder if I can go in here and go to the bathroom and spend like 30 seconds to a minute and not have to talk to anybody. Twice, I was not even in there for over a minute. Twice, somebody knocked on the door with a question. And I say that not because it makes me angry. It really doesn't, because I go to work. I work at night sometimes. And so I get my alone time. But
Hmm.
I say that because it is the reality of just being a mom But that also is like the work to try to take care of yourself and to lose weight and to fit inside a box that people
Hmm.
want. Like, it's not just the fact that you had kids that is
No.
necessarily against you,
Right.
where your weight and your mental is concerned. It is other people's expectations. It is what is caring for those kids once you have them.
Hmm.
You're caring for them in a way for the rest of their life.
Oh, absolutely.
And this narrative or this conditioning that the male who contributed the sperm for these children can walk away so much easier than a mother can
Oh, yeah.
and keep his figure, quite literally.
Oh, yeah. Well, they don't have to do any of the work.
I don't see they don't do any of the emotional work, they don't do any of the physical work, they don't do anything that, like, they've been conditioned to believe that they just make the money and the woman does everything else. That alone puts weight on. That alone makes you tired. That alone, and then we've
Yeah.
got the hormones to add to it, the ups and the downs and the menopause and the I mean, it's no wonder. And so I get all of my rolls and I get all of my wrinkles and I get all of my grays and all of this. And I'm trying to accept that. I'm trying to accept the fact
Hmm.
that I am not trying to look a certain way for anyone else or for anyone else's satisfaction. But more importantly, I'm trying to find teach myself how to accept me for me, just exactly the way that I am. And
Yeah.
when I do decide to change, and get healthier, it will be for me
Yeah.
first. And
Absolutely.
then it'll be for my kids second.
Yeah.
But it has to be in that order or it won't stick.
Right.
And you can't beat into somebody's head the the need.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
No, you can't. And so, like, learning to accept learning to accept ourselves as we are is a very difficult because a lot of the times, what I've seen, anyways, is a lot of manifestation where you're just like, you are this and you are that, but it's not true, which can actually make it worse. And
Worse.
so it's like learning to start at the baseline of like, I made 4 babies and this is where I'm at.
Yeah.
And I am glad for that.
Yeah.
Like you start with what you can accept
Hmm.
and then you move gradually up. Um, like finding things that you do like, even if they're small, and that like opens your mind to accepting more of yourself.
Hmm.
Yeah. This one is really hard because again, I for myself and my own experience, it's always been two opposing messages that I'm fighting against.
Yeah.
Um, and like I don't even like to say them out loud
Yeah.
because I feel I don't know I feel like I don't know hypocritical maybe. I feel wrong for saying them. I have always struggled with feeling pretty, but I have a lot of people that tell me you're so pretty, but my mind does not know how to accept that.
Oh, yeah. How to see it
Yeah, like
for
I
yourself.
I can't see it like they do.
Well, and Sarah, that's not just like being humble. It's
No.
not, that's not like I think a lot of people would especially in the CHM, and I know that the humbleness was like such a big thing. And if a woman or if a girl looked in the mirror and said, "I look nice today," that was like, okay,
That was
like
pride.
that was pride, and it was a sin, and she was probably just she thought too much of herself, and all this
Mm-hmm.
stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I
So
mean, like one
that
thing that
was
I
not
got,
okay.
yeah,
I don't know. Have you ever seen the Divergent series?
yeah.
And I think it was Abnegation, the sections that they were in, but they couldn't look.
Mm-hmm.
The
Mm-hmm.
one she was born into and she came out of, she couldn't look in the mirror for more than a few seconds at a time. Like
Oh, I don't remember
was
that. I only watched it once.
that is my favorite movie series.
I
It makes me
know.
so mad that they did not finish it. There was one more movie left and they didn't finish. Oh, it made me so mad. But um, yeah, she was born into
Is it a faction?
it's a faction. Yeah, she was born in they were split up into like five factions, I think. I don't know
Yeah.
how many factions there were. And I think she was born into a faction where they were the ones that helped the poor and that they looked very plain. They wore very plain clothes and they couldn't look in the mirror for longer than a certain period of time. Anyway,
Huh. He
and
was keeping track of that.
yeah, I did well, I've seen the series like
I know.
I don't know how many times. I cannot count how many times I've watched that
I
series.
need to watch it again.
Love it. I love her and I love him. I love
Hmm.
the actors. Oh my God. Anyway, anyway, um, but it's just like that. I remember a friend telling me one time, she was just like, I've looked in the mirror before and thought, you look nice today. You're doing
Hmm.
good. And I thought, oh, my goodness. Like I remember thinking, okay,
Oh my
you're a
goodness.
little bit, but that was totally valid. She was
Yeah.
totally within her rights to think that she looked nice. And so
Yeah.
why do we do this to ourselves? But I know it's like humble. That's not normal humbleness. That is like putting yourself down on a regular basis.
Hmm. Okay, so I want to like ask you a question because I just want to see what you think because it totally, I think, ties into what we've been talking about.
Okay.
And I've seen this multiple times online in a few different places, but it says something to the effect of like women struggle to make close friends because our moms were our first bully. And especially like in this type of world, I'm not saying it's like only this world where that happens because like as a society there's a lot of cultural standards that women are expected to live up to,
Right.
like just watch the Barbie movie and that whole monologue in there is
Right.
just epic. But in our world, like throw purity culture in on top of that.
Yeah.
um like our moms are the ones who are first telling us, hey, you can't wear that, or hey, that's, that's immodest, you're going to tempt boys and men and you're just a child.
Hmm.
And I'm saying it very nicely.
Oh yeah.
Because it was not said that nicely.
Yeah.
Um, and so you get a lot of flack from our mothers first
Right.
for existing as a human and our humanness being viewed as sinful.
Right. Yeah.
And so, like, if you're conditioned from early on to get that kind of treatment and judgment from your own parent or parents, um, how much harder then is it to like even see, like, because we know how judgmental we were towards other people like
Oh,
at
for
a
sure.
very young age.
Yeah.
And so like we became like self-policing.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And so I mean it's another vicious cycle that we just continued.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like how can you ever feel like you're in a safe relationship?
That's so true. It's interesting because you don't necessarily like you don't have close friends. Uh,
Mm.
and the ones that you think you're close to usually turned around and stabbed you in the back somehow, or
Yep.
at least in my experience.
Mm-hmm.
or they were always in competition with you. Come to find out, like you
Mm-hmm.
wanted to be a genuine friend, but I had this one friend who every guy that I liked, she went after. Like it was just very normal, natural for her. And it was not as soon as she got them, because she was definitely prettier than me, or so I thought. As soon as she got them, she didn't want them. She just wanted to know that she had it over me. And
Yeah.
it was like those kinds of friendships when that's what your norm is. And I just continued to be friends with her. What am I going to do? I was, uh,
Oh,
I was
I
just,
had someone like that.
yeah, you just go after those toxic relationships there because that is what you're used to. Then when you choose your partner for life, that sort of plays into it as well.
Oh, absolutely.
So the chastisement and the constructive criticism and all of this stuff that you go through in your dating life and in your, like, even after they ask you to marry them and those kinds of things, um, is interpreted as love and respect and trying to help you make it to heaven, those kinds of things, instead of what it really is, which is a toxic, controlling individual.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's a lot of like dynamics that if you don't address them before you're married, you gravitate towards the familiar.
absolutely. Right.
Mm. Well, the last thing that we like, the last question to really go over is what parts of ourself did we disconnect from? Um, and that can be physically, emotionally, whatever. Um, I know, like for me, there's a lot of body dissociation
Mhm.
and dysmorphia.
For sure.
Um, like that mental numbness when it comes to even approaching this topic that can happen.
Yeah.
I think for me, though, is mostly like separating myself from my body.
Mhm.
There's a, I don't know if I've showed you this or not. There was a picture I found years ago now. Well, I think in like 2022 or 3, I can't remember, somewhere in there. And like when I saw it, it like stopped me in my tracks.
Mhm.
Um and like I think I even started crying like when I saw it.
I love it.
Um I'm going to share my screen really quick here. Can you see that?
Oh,
Like I remember the first time I saw that and I just about came unglued.
oh my.
And even like the caption.
Well, the caption is, yeah, it just sort of like drives it home, like what
Mhm.
what she's feeling, and uh, that hurts.
Mhm. Like even the background is telling a story.
Yeah, crazy how um, deeply art can just explain it all in one image.
Yeah. Yeah. And just for the listeners who are not on YouTube, like the photo is it's of a woman and she's actually nude, except that her torso where her breasts are and then like her pelvic area are completely separated and on the ground. And there's like a volcano in the background, and she's standing in what looks like a desert. Um, and the caption says, "Just take them and leave me alone."
And
But I do recommend watching this on YouTube.
she's looking down, like
Yeah,
downcast, sad,
yeah,
arms at her sides. Like it just everything in her stance is.
yeah. And the volcano in the back has like black smoke coming out of it. Like she's just done.
Mhm.
But yeah, like you want to talk about like dissociation. And for me, this is it.
Yeah,
Like, I feel like my life would have been so much easier without those things.
yeah. And the importance of even now, like accepting who we are
Uh-huh.
and uh, not letting, really not letting the voices and the contact in of people who are toxic,
Yeah.
um, and who want that those are bad things about you, you know,
Yeah, because those are
pull
the
those kinds of people away.
those were the two things that, were essentially a commodity
Yeah,
for us.
yeah. Hmm.
And they dehumanized us because we had them
Hmm.
or have them, I should say.
Right.
And so, yeah, the dissociation can run pretty deep when it comes to our bodies and how we mentally separate ourselves from our body
Right.
and view it as separate. And we're not integrated.
Right.
And so, like even the poem that I read at the beginning, um, one of the things about it is that it is integrative. Like it's a poem that never leaves the body and yet tells the story of all the lies it's been told.
Yeah.
And it's like even reading it like feels heavy.
Right.
Um, but like I said, for me, like writing that is like saying goodbye. Like it's like a funeral
Hmm. Yeah.
of a way of thinking that I want nothing to do with ever again.
Hmm. Yeah.
It's not cut and dried, but it
Right.
doesn't happen overnight. But like I think that for me is a I've made a big step away from it
Right. Yeah.
by just getting it out.
Hmm.
So not to like end on like a heavy note or anything, but therapy is good to get this crap out.
Start it as soon as possible.
As much as you can. Like it's worth it if you can afford it or make the sacrifice to afford it, even if it's just like in increments at a time. Do
Yeah.
it.
Even if
Do
it's just
it.
once a month, get it done.
Mm-hmm. Once a month is better than nothing.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I know we've been going for a long time today, but thanks for listening again, y'all. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. It only takes like half a second to like click, click,
Yeah.
click. All right. We will see you all next week with part 3. Great. Woohoo. All right.
Bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye. You've been listening on the party line to I'm on the Phone podcast with Sarah and Christy. Join us again next week for more stories about our pre, post, and mid-culture life. Thanks for listening.